I'm feeling a little sick, but today I read this article about Tejano music, and so I felt compelled to make this video. The biggest thing that stood out to me about the article was this notion that fans hold on to old favorites and leave little room for younger artists to flourish. At the risk of rubbing certain people the wrong way, I'm gonna be honest and say that I don't think this is an accident. I'm sure there are several reasons for this, but there is one reason that I haven't heard many people talk about. When I think of iconic Tejano artists, I think of Little Joy La Familia, La Mafia, David Lee Garza, the Hometown Boys, Los Garcia Brothers, Emilio Navaira, Jay Perez, of course, Selena, and the list goes on, but you get the point. What I love about all of these artists is that they all had their own style, their own sound, their own thing. I'm 29 years old, so I think I'm too young to either remember or realize what it was like when a lot of these artists were at the top of their game. But from what I can tell, it seems like there was a lot of healthy competition. You had all of these great acts, and though I'm sure they were influenced by each other and other styles of music, etc., there's a difference between copying someone just to copy them and being influenced by them. I play and listen to many different styles of music, and along with listening to my old favorites, I do my best to keep an eye and an ear out for up-and-coming artists and new music. And I can't help but notice a pattern with newer Tejano music, and I also noticed this pattern with norteño and country music, but maybe that's a separate conversation. I've done my best to listen to some of the newer Tejano music, and of course I haven't listened to everything because there's always new music coming out, but a lot of it is real cookie cutter. I can tell that most of what I've heard is auto-tuned or melodined, whatever, just pitch corrected to perfection, and it's quantized so everything fits perfectly. And it's super predictable with predictable chords and lyrics, and for my ears and my taste, there's not much that's new about it. I'm not pointing any fingers, and I'm not saying that's bad, right? You can use these tools in the recording studio. But to me at least, art, music involves risk. Part of being an artist is being honest. Being honest about how you feel, how you sound, what you have to say, how you have to say it, how you want to say it. And when everything is cookie cutter and perfect, that's not realistic. No one is perfect. I've worked with some amazing singers better than me, at least with much more experience than I have, who they're not gonna sing perfectly every time. This video isn't meant to put anyone down. I'm sure there are great artists playing this music and great musicians playing this music, but a lot of what I've heard, a lot of the newer stuff is generic, and so I just don't listen to it. And maybe that's part of the reason that people like to hold on to these older artists, older, more established artists, I should say. These iconic Tejano artists were experimenting with sounds, with different styles, with just different things, and it seems like they were willing to take a risk. I can already see a lot of the comments that are coming, and some of them might be, well, if you have so much to say about music, where's your music? You can actually find my music on all streaming platforms. My name is Carlos Holguin, and I'm gonna tell you right now, some of you aren't gonna like it. None of the music that I have available is pitch corrected or quantized, and I know that because I was in the recording studio. When working on my last batch of recordings, I actually had a falling out with one of the studio engineers because I didn't want any pitch correction. For me, the beauty is in the imperfection. And so there were certain takes that I picked that maybe weren't perfectly in tune, but the emotion that I wanted was there. You see, to me, what I had to say was more important than getting it perfect. When doing anything, but especially when in the studio, I do the best that I can in that moment. And of course, your best changes over time. I create music to express myself, and if other people identify with it, then that's great. To all of my fellow artists, échenle ganas and be yourself.